All right, welcome everyone. Today we're going to tackle a really important topic and demystify it a bit. We're talking about the two main life support systems of dialysis, so let's just jump right in. So, let's start with a really fundamental question. Your body has these incredible master filters, right? I'm talking about your kidneys. They're working 24/7, just constantly cleaning your blood. But what happens when those filters fail? Well, that's exactly where dialysis comes into the picture. See, when your kidneys can't cope, all that junk, waste products, extra fluid, it starts to build up, and that's incredibly dangerous. So dialysis is what takes over that life-saving job. It's basically an artificial way to clean the blood. And as we're about to see, there are two totally different ways to get it done. Okay, first up, hemodialysis. The easiest way to wrap your head around this one, just think of it as an artificial kidney. So what is hemodialysis, or HD as it's often called? Well, the core idea is pretty wild. Your blood actually leaves your body. It's circulated through a machine that has this special filter. They call it a dialyzer, and that's what cleans out all the waste. Then the clean blood is returned right back to you. For a few hours, that machine is literally doing the job of your kidneys. It's basically a simple three-step loop that just keeps repeating. Step 1, blood comes out. Step 2, it goes through that super important filter. And step 3, the clean blood goes right back in. And this cycle just runs on repeat for the entire session. Now, to move all that blood back and forth, you can't just use a regular IV. You need like a superhighway into the bloodstream. And that comes in a few forms, something called an AV fistula, a graft, or a central venous catheter. But, this is a pretty intense process. Pulling fluid out of the body that quickly can sometimes cause issues, right? So you might see things like a sudden drop in blood pressure, muscle cramps, bleeding, or even an irregular heartbeat. All right, so that was method 1. Now let's totally switch gears and look at method number 2, which takes a completely different approach. This is peritoneal dialysis. And instead of an artificial kidney, this one uses the body's internal filter. Okay, this is where it gets really, really cool. With peritoneal dialysis, or PD, there's no big external machine. Instead, it uses something you already have, the lining of your own abdomen, called the peritoneal membrane. It's an incredible idea. It basically turns your own body into the filter. So you're probably asking, how does that even work? Well, it's a pretty straightforward cycle. First, a sterile cleaning solution, it's called dialysate, is flowed into your abdomen. Then it just hangs out in there for a while. They call this the dwell time. And while it's dwelling, that's when the magic happens. Your peritoneal membrane acts as a natural filter, pulling waste products from your blood into that fluid. Finally, you just drain the fluid out, and it takes all those toxins with it. The way you get the fluid in and out is through a soft tube called a peritoneal catheter, which is placed in the abdomen. Now, the biggest risk with this method is getting an infection of that lining. That's called peritonitis. And the signs are pretty clear. You'd be looking for things like belly pain, a fever, or if the fluid that you drain out looks cloudy instead of clear. Okay, so we've got the how it works for both methods down. Now let's do the fun part. Let's put them side by side, a little head-to-head comparison to really nail down what makes them so different. And wow, this chart just lays it all out perfectly, doesn't it? Let's break it down. The filter. Hemodialysis uses that external artificial kidney, but peritoneal dialysis, that uses your body's own natural filter. And what about location? HD happens outside the body, while PD happens inside. Even the access method is totally different. HD needs that heavy-duty access to your blood vessels, while PD just needs that one simple catheter in the abdomen. So if you're going to remember just one thing from all of this, what should it be? Let's boil it all down to the absolute core difference. It's this quote right here. Hemodialysis filters blood through an external machine. Peritoneal dialysis uses the abdominal lining and dilate to filter internally. That's it. That's the whole ballgame. One is outside with a machine. The other is inside, using your own body. External versus internal. That is the fundamental difference. So when you step back and think about it, we have one critical problem, failing kidneys, with two totally different, incredible solutions. You've got the external artificial approach on one side and the internal natural approach on the other. It really makes you wonder, right? What's next for kidney care? Are we going to build even better, smarter artificial kidneys? Or will the future be about finding new, innovative ways to use the amazing systems our bodies already have?